Hi, for this album that we are going to make, I am going to use the beautiful Alice Tea Party paper collection. This is such a delightful paper collection by G45, and basically what I am going to use is leftover pieces from the 12 by 12 and patterns and solids. I already cut in advance what I need. Well, not all of that, the paper, but you can see here I have a lot of leftover tiny pieces that I am going to use as well to make the arrangements on each one of the pages. And another thing that I am going to use is this regular Ivory tag album, these ones. All right, and in advance I already distressed all the edges in both sides with this Opal Magic wax and vintage silk color because I really like so much the effect. But you can use as well some distress ink or just leave it like that. All right, and of course, to mat every one of these tags, I am using the regular tag and gears metal dies. This size perfectly on these ones. All right, and you can see here I cut and distress everything that I need because I am going to use the leftover papers that I have. You can choose any leftover papers or any paper collection to complete this album. All right, we are going to need as well 2 pieces of chipboard. This is 3 millimeters and measure 4¼ by 4½, both of them. All right, now we will need a piece of heavy cardstock. This is 380 grams. It's really thick for the spine, and I will be using leftover papers of well, cardstock in ivory color because this matches perfectly with my tags. And another thing that I am going to use is cards, of course. These are the 4x6 and 3x4 journaling and ephemera cards, and I don't have so much left, but I am going to use some of them, of course, and maybe some of these beautiful ephemera assortments. I use them, most of them, in another album, big album, and I am planning to make another project, so most of them are going to be in the other project, but we will see at the end. And you can see here I just have a few chipboard as well as the stickers, but I can use this is going to be in the other project, but the other ones are going to be in this album. And well, this is going to be decoration, so this will wait. We will start with this. And to make hinges, I already cut and scored 2, 4, 5, 6 pieces of the cream cardstock that measure 1¾ by I forgot to write the height, which is 4 3/8. All right, I will put it here. 4 3/8. It's the tall side. Okay, and I made 2 scoring lines. One is at 5/8 and on the second it's at 1 1/8 of an inch. So I already have all of those creased. This will join all the tags. All right, and as well in advance I use this large tag album, and using again leftover pieces of paper, I cut with this die a really bunch of these petals, and I ink them basically in the center, and then with a shaping tool I just put it here and just pinch in the edges in the back, of course. And when you finish this side, you just turn it to the opposite side and roll it in the center. When you have the two, you just put it, align them. You can see here, you want to see both petals, one inside of the other one, in between of the back, okay? And later, I just use some beads to fill the center. You can see here, I just use this, of course, with a little bit of glue on the center, and that's it for the flower shaping. All right, you can see here I have a lot of this already. Another thing that I use is this beautiful leaf die, which is here as well. You can see how pretty this looks. It's the same cardstock that I use here, but I embossed it with shabby white embossing enamel from Stampendos, okay? And these are as well graphic 45, and this is a gold metallic paper. So I just cut some frames, some labels or mini tags, and this is the remaining piece of the center and some of these beautiful corners. And I am planning to use this, probably, of course, one clock and 5 of these clips, metal charms. These are so pretty, okay? So another thing that we are going to need is a piece of fabric. This is cheap, and you can see here is really thin. We need something very, very thin for this project. All right, and this is the die of these beautiful frames, policy and decorative dies to cut all of those pieces. And of course we will need some double-sided tape, liquid glue, whatever is the glue that you feel more comfortable. It's going to be fine. One of these metal brads for the closure, and for the closure as well, I am I already ink a long piece of seam binding, and mine was white, and I colored that with this Cosmopolitan Pink by Lindy's. It's a Starburst spray, and I like this color because this matches so beautiful with this paper collection. But you can use all, of course, your distress ink or any ink to make the color match with this. And I like to use the seam binding because it looks really, really soft in this kind of projects. A pair of tweezers, and okay, now we are ready to start. And the first thing that I am going to do is to stick these pieces, and I will move this away a little bit. We need to stick these pieces on the side in this way. Okay, it's important to align this where you see this curved line is starting. Okay, now we're just going to find and it's going to be flush with this edge. Okay, okay, I am going to attach the next one in this way because then it's going to be easier to align it here. We just put it in this way, and now we can align it with the bottom here, because here in the bottom we just have our, but it needs to be aligned here as well. Okay, I already stick all the pieces, and every one of these spaces are a ½ inch, so we have 1, 2, and 3 inches. So the first thing that I want to do is to stick this piece of fabric in here, but I am going to turn to the back side, and I think this is too long. Let me check, because we don't need, I want to cover maybe until here, so I am going to cut this side a little bit, something like this. I let this dry a little bit, and now I already told you this measure 3 inches from here to here, but because we have this chipboard that is thick, I already cut this piece of the heavy cardstock. This measured the same height, 4.5, and I made the first score at a ½ inch, and then I score every 1/8 of an inch until 3 7/8. But I know I told you this was 3 inches wide, this piece, but the best way to be sure which is going to be the last scoring line, first you need to crease this, align it here, put the first piece of the chipboard, then you need to add all of these, but perfectly flat. That's really, really, really important, that this is flat, and I need to check if it is flat. And then we can add another piece of chipboard, and here we can see where is going to be the last scoring. some fabric that these are used for make pajamas and blankets and things like that. Okay. Okay, and now this is the fabric that I am going to use. It's a peachy pink and it's a kind of silk, but of course this is not silk. This should be some polyester and it's thin as well. So the first thing that I am going to do is to remove all. From the 8x8 paper pad, I cut 6 strips that measure 3/8 of an inch, and what I am doing now it's using my wax. I just squeeze a little bit here, and with this finger I just pass all on the edge in the long sides, only in the long sides, to cover the hinges and decorate those hinges a little bit. And you can see here I didn't cut the the information strip on top. I didn't cut that because I am going to wrap all around to the back. Now, next step, I'm going to decorate a little bit the cover, and we need to add this brad before we stick the inside. And of course the inside as well, I want to decorate the page, well, not decorate, at least mat all the pages inside and then stick here. Okay, these two pieces that you are watching here are from, I think this is from the 12 by 12. I am using leftovers, and this measure the height is 4.5, both of them, because these are going to be one in this side and this in this side, because we will have a tiny piece here, maybe, well, not too tiny, maybe half an inch, and I don't want to see the fabric there. I want to see the paper. But before we stick this, we need to do something in the outside. So for the cover, I will be using this journaling card. This is the 3x4, and I just cut a little bit around to make this fit 2 13/16, 2, yes, by 3 7/8 is what this measures. So I cut a lightweight chipboard piece that measures 3 by 4.5, and I'm going to cover with this from the patterns and solids. Okay, this is ready, and I like how this look here, but I thought that maybe with a pop of the gold it's going to look much prettiest, and yes, I like it. So I'm going to now we need to open here. It's going to fit there, but I don't want to take the risk that my fabric is going to tear. So I'm going to cut another strips of paper, maybe not this one, but another, to add one here and another here, and on top it's going to be this one. Okay, this two in the bottom because I want to be able and tie a bow. So let me think, maybe if I add a tiny piece of chipboard or something to hold it here, yes, something to prevent this is going to come all over here. Now I can do this and secure it. Now I can remove this, and I have a space here to tie a bow. Okay, this is already dried, and I want to add a little bit of this I don't know how do you call this, but I want to add this here inside, and this will cover also here in case that this can be visible. I don't want that. I need to see which one is my front side. See, this looks so pretty, but we are going to let this dry, and we are going to work with this. Okay, first I have this piece. It's going to be attached here, that's why I am going to use a piece of paper to cover the top, you see, and I think this is going to look so pretty. So I already have all of the pieces to mat, and I am going to show you quickly. This will be here, this will be here, this it's going to be here, and this is going to be here, but because it's cut here, I am going to make a pocket. This beautiful paper, I think this and the pink one are my favorites on this paper collection. Here and here. How is this? This side, with this side. I don't know. Let me check. Or maybe this can be here and this can be here. Yes, I like this more. This here and this here, and at the end I am going to use this on the top. So I'm going to stick all of them, and then we will continue. In the meantime, this it's going to be drying perfectly. Okay, now we are ready to stick this, but first we need to cover here. The album, it's almost ready. You can see here all the pages. This is a pocket here and here. I think this is ready, but of course I am going to embellish this a little bit, and I prepare some mats and decorations to add on each one of the pages. So I'm going to start here in this side, and for this I made a kind, well, I use, let me tell you, I use these two dies. Oh, my hand is full of wax. Some I cut it on rectangles and some in squares, because I don't want my mats too big to cover all the beautiful images. So this it's going to be like here, I think more on the, but in this way I am going to make a tiny pocket because I don't want to cover this beautiful rabbit. So let's start adding glue here. I didn't record all of the process of embellishing the inside and the outside because it takes so much, but I want to show you and let you know what I did. Here in the spine with the seam binding, I just passed the seam binding here. You can see this is loose, so it's easy. I put a dot of glue here as well as in the bottom just to secure the seam binding, and then I use this beautiful chippy, but in the back I use a glittery embossing powder, and I love it. I don't like to see the color of the chipboard on the back, and that's an easy solution. I made a knot here and here just to secure it, and that's there. Here is my bag, and I am looking here because this fabric is so thin. There is something here. I think this is glue, but maybe I'm going to cover it with some leaves or something. In the cover, well, first on the top I use this beautiful trim, precious pink trim. This matches great with this collection. I didn't use this and this because I want to keep this soft, okay? So I add one piece of trim cut in this way and then tie it with a piece of seam binding, and I really love how this looks. In the cover I use some of the flowers, the leaves, and this tea party piece, I fussy cut it from the paper sheet, and then I just backed with a chipboard just to pop this a little bit up. Actually the ephemera card doesn't have the tea party letters, so I love the idea to add that. Okay, I use this clock because this was too big for this tiny cover, and I really love it. Now in here for the closure, I ended changing a little bit because I don't want to tear the seam binding. This is really thin, so I tie another extra piece, made a knot here, and then this is not going to move, and so it's not going to be here, and I made an extra knot here, and now this is my space to make my bow. Okay, let me show you inside. Here inside the front cover, you watch me doing this on camera, but I want to show you because we have a little pocket here with a punch that I have. I just cut some of these mini tiny tags, and I add a piece of cardstock on the back to write something just for fun because this is so cute, and I use 2 jump rings to join them and put it here inside. And remember, this will be my closure, this ephemera piece. in love with this paper collection. I hope you will give it a try, and thank you so much for joining me and visit it here in Graphic 45 channel. And don't forget to visit their website, which is G45.com, and get your beautiful paper collection, Alice Tea Party. Thank you so much.